The Ohio State Buckeyes remain 1.5 favorites to beat Texas on Saturday as we get closer and closer to the matchup between the number 1 team in the country and the number 3 team in the country down in Columbus. Very excited for this. I know a lot of you guys checked out our early preview. We have another preview for you here today on the Ohio State Football Report. I know you guys watch, which means you want Ohio State to win. There's only one other thing you can do to help the Buckeyes get it done, and that is like this video. You don't want to jinx it. Make sure you do so Ohio State can beat Texas. Let's get it going with our players to watch in this matchup. We're starting off with Sonny Styles. How many times have I said the Blocko captain, the man in the middle of this linebacking core? You need good things from Sonny Styles. You're expecting a big year from him. I am personally. I'm expecting an All-American-esque year. And the linebacking core itself, really, really good group led by Styles. Arvell Reese, I think there's a chance he could put together a season that lands him in the NFL. And then you have Garrett Stover and Peyton Pierce kind of rounding things out. But it is Styles to watch leading this group on Saturday. They're going to need to do so to help them take down Texas's run game. Davison Igbinosun is the second Ohio State player to watch. And there's a big, big reason. He's been a 4-year starter, whether it be at Ole Miss, and then he transfers to Ohio State. He's played a little bit of nickel. He had that clutch interception against Penn State last year. But his task, and what we're watching for Saturday, is taking down these giant receivers that Texas has. Ryan Wingo and Parker Livingston, 6'4" and 6'2" between these two receivers. You'll need Igbinosun to hang in there, hang tough, and stay tall. He's 6'2" also, so he's got good size. But that's a tough matchup with those receivers, supersized receivers, as I said there. And there's reason for that. So we'll be watching Igbinosun to get out there and make that difference. You want your best players to play well in a game like this, and you feel like Caleb Downs is probably your best defensive player. I'm watching Caleb Downs because there's so much Ohio State has done with him so far, and there's even more they're going to do with him this year under Matt Patricia. I think Caleb Downs is the key to stopping Arch Manning, and Arch Manning is a big reason why Texas believes they're going to win, and a big reason they think they're going to have a good year. Downs can play back. He can make sure there's no deep balls getting over the head of the corners. He can also climb up in the box, help blitz, help take down runners if Arch gets out of the pocket. You can also watch for Downs to play a little bit of nickel to contain things on short passes. So he has a big, big job keeping Arch Manning in check this Saturday. I think that's why Downs, definitely you got to keep an eye on him. If Ohio State can keep Arch under control with Caleb Downs, what do we think the score is? I know a lot of people have given their predictions, even when I haven't asked, but go ahead and drop down in the comments. Give me your score prediction for Ohio State and Texas. Big-time players, big-time games, big-time performances. That's what you need from Jeremiah Smith. This is a huge matchup to start the season at home. Heisman candidacy, national championship presentation. How much bigger can it get at this point in the season? You need Jeremiah Smith to show up and show out. He had a terrific year last year, over 1,300 yards, really burst onto the scene, and you just need him to do it Saturday, right? You're going against Texas. They have a good defense. You need Julian Sand to feel comfortable and feel like, hey, my number one is playing like it today. The other guys on the team, if Smith is going, they're going to feel like they can get going too. So you need your best player to play his best. I've got my eye on Jeremiah Smith to do so. All right, Austin Sareveld at left tackle. He wins that left tackle job, and we've talked about Austin Sareveld a lot because he originally was going to play right tackle, finally getting his shot this year, team captain, ends up winning that left tackle job because he played so well in fall camp. I want to note something here. He did grow a beard, ladies and gentlemen, and you may not think much of it, but I think that's a really, really big deal for him to grow a beard. Get a little more toughness, get a little more mean, looks a little meaner, clean shaven there, but I'm excited for him to go for the Buckeyes at left tackle, and boy does he have a challenge doing so. Colin Simmons, who we're going to talk plenty about later in this video, really good freshman season last year for Texas, plans to have another good year this year. It is Sareveld against Simmons, and it is going to be a show. I've got my eye on that left side to see what happens there. I want to let you guys know today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Football season is back, and so is Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy sports app. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money this football season. It's very easy to play Prize Picks as you just pick more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. That's right. So you can turn $10 into $20,000 with certain Prize Picks lineups. We made it to week 1 of college football. Really excited for that. NFL is on its way, and we've got a new deal for you from Prize Picks. Arch Manning, more than a touchdown and a half passing. Jeremiah Smith, 49.5 receiving yards, more. Julian Sand, more than half a interception there passing. What you want to do is download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Link in the comments and description to get started. We appreciate Prize Picks sponsoring today's Ohio State football report. Over to Texas players to watch. You got to start with Arch, right? You got to keep your eyes on the quarterback. It's a big game for Arch Manning. It's a big season for Arch Manning. He is Texas right now. Anytime you mention the Longhorns, kind of shifts back to Arch Manning. Both sides of things, the scouting report, scouting against them, you're talking about Arch Manning. Tall, he's got that family, obviously, name to him that gives him an advantage a little bit there. And impressed in situations last season. Can he live up to the hype? Can he do big things? You expect him to try and challenge Ohio State with his arm, but he can also run. I've noted that as a key to victory is keeping Arch when he's running the ball in check, because I can really make a difference. Chunk yardage, close yardage, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, he can get you those first downs. Definitely got to keep an eye on how Arch Manning operates in really the biggest game of his career so far. Texas has a really impressive group at the running back position. I think you're going to see both guys in Quentravion Wisner and C.J. Baxter. Both those guys are going to get their shot. Wisner burst on the scene last year after Baxter got hurt, gets that 1,000-yard season. He's actually the only returning SEC running back that had 1,000 yards last year. Wisner excited for his role, but he knows how good the running back room is in itself with him and Baxter, and noting just being able to have Baxter back in the room is going to help us. Me and him attacking defenses like we're about to, it's going to be crazy. Baxter actually was meant to be the main running back last year, and many Texas fans believe he'll be the main running back this year over Wisner. So to have both those guys getting going, I think that's going to be a really, really big deal for Texas. Keep an eye on both those running backs. Trevor Goosby, he is the answer when you tell Texas fans that their offensive line has taken a hit. They will immediately cite Trevor Goosby because he played last year. When they had their injuries, he shifted in at left tackle, played pretty well, so he's got some experience. However, already hurt his hand. He's going to end up playing this game, it looks like, with a cast on his hand or a club on his hand. So Texas, who has a completely revamped offensive line, they're going to go with Goosby at left tackle. That's a tough day for a guy who already injured himself, hasn't necessarily played too much left tackle, and now the guys he's going to go against are a 1-2 punch of Caden Curry and Bo Atkinson. Again, Curry, good Ohio State experience, coached up by Larry Johnson for a few years now, and Bo Atkinson, 2 really good years at UNC. Now he comes over to Ohio State. They're going to go after Goosby, again, playing with one good hand and one club hand and limited starting experience. And again, for a lot of these guys, I'll say it over and over, it's the biggest game of their career. It's the biggest game they played in. You saw the spread earlier in our matchup. I want to know if you guys think Ohio State can live up to it, if they can cover it. They're a 1.5 favorite. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Colin Simmons. Man, I've been waiting for this one because we really haven't heard much jawing, much back and forth, many issues between these two teams. And then Julian Sand was named quarterback, and Colin Simmons had that Instagram post loaded and ready to go. And he did something I really, really don't like, which we'll get to in just a second. So he posts this picture of Julian Sand, no caption, no message, just posts it after he was named starting quarterback for the Buckeyes. Everybody, kind of had the thought, what does the Texas defensive lineman mean by this? What's the thought behind this? And he goes off and backtracks. Oh, that didn't mean much. We're just excited to get after it. I'm glad they named a quarterback. I'm glad they named a quarterback in general. Nothing major there. I'm just ready to play. I'm just ready to get after it. All right, fine. You were the one that wanted to get out there and be a part of this and inject yourself. Now you got to walk the walk, right? You talked the talk with that post, even by not saying anything. Now it's time to walk the walk. Can Colin Simmons come out and wreak havoc in Columbus? Again, he'll be going against Austin Servald. I think that matchup is going to be huge for this game, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Texas has their own version of Sonny Styles, and it is Anthony Hill Jr., projected first-round pick, possible All-American. I mean, really other side of Sonny Styles, but for Texas, really, really good player. And a lot of the time when people talk about Texas's defense, they'll note Anthony Hill Jr. first, saying, Texas has a really good defense. It starts with Anthony Hill Jr. When you know that defense is playing well, it's usually because Anthony Hill Jr. is driving that group, so we'll keep an eye on that. Talked a lot about this game so far, and you can be a part of it with us here at Chat Sports. Be sure to subscribe and join our live watch party. We'll get going at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Get you set for the game. We'll have a jersey giveaway. We'll do our chats and discussions. A lot of fun stuff there, so be sure to subscribe and join the watch party. Final injury update to get you set for this game. Talked a lot about Trevor Goosby. Has that hand injury. Going to wear the club. Going to go with the cast. Steve Sarkisian, pretty confident he's going to play. That's just part of football. He's going to gut it out. He's going to make it happen. Emmett Mosley, who adds a little bit to this receiving core. He's actually a transfer that Texas wanted to get going in this group, but he's had a lower leg injury really for all of fall camp, dealing with that. Limited. Not sure if he'll play. A lot of reports not hopeful there. And Edric Houston, really the only unhealthy player for Ohio State, had that knee injury early in camp, like right away, actually. I think it was day one. He hurt his knee right away. He has practiced since. He's looked good since, and I expect him to play for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Asked you to give your score prediction earlier. I'm going to give mine now. Ohio State 31, Texas 21. It's going to come down to a defensive stop of importance at some point in this game. I do think both these teams can and will score, but my eyes remain on defense, and I think even with Ohio State scoring 31 with Texas at 21, I still think this will be a very, very defensive game. Can't wait to watch it with you Saturday.